Ho ho ho, Merry Christmas. Today we're going to be building a website with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript and the Bootstrap framework that, you can really use for any small business. In my head, it was for a blue-collar business like handyman or something like that. But, you can use it for whatever. It's your website. This all does already assume that you understand HTML, CSS, and JavaScript and Bootstrap. It's not a tutorial on how to do those things, but if you do understand that, even the basics, you should be able to follow along with this. So now I'm going to get into the demonstration of what the site looks like. So we got the nav bar at the top. Claus Construction is the name of the website. Got the hero image here. It's faded a little bit, and then you got your nav bar buttons here as well. The about section, talking about Santa, the services that this Claus Construction offers, and here we got some examples of recent work. So in this example, I'm using electrical, drywall, and woodworking. You click it opens up a light box and allows you to go through the different images, which I know this doesn't really make any sense because there's, it's a different guy in each photo. But whatever, we're going with it. And I did 4 pixels images for each one. So go through that as well. And then contact section, normal stuff, send message. We won't be doing the PHP file that actually sends it. We'll do that at a later time. And you got the footer. Copyright 2024, Claus Construction, all rights reserved. And then if you were building this out for someone, you might advertise your agency or whatever. So powered by Acme Web Agency. And that doesn't go anywhere right now because as far as I know, that doesn't exist. But maybe I ought to copyright that. So anyways, I'm going to have starter files that you can download, and I'll have those in the description. And here's what it is. It'll have the blank index.html file, you have JS, so for your JavaScript files, an image folder with a bunch of pictures in here that we're going to use, and so this, the closed.png, loading, the next, and previous, those are used for the lightbox. All these other ones are either on the site or they're used for the My Work section. Fonts, we're going to use this Last Christmas font, and then CSS, Bootstrap, Font Awesome, the Lightbox, that thing I mentioned earlier, and then this is our custom styles thing. This is what we're going to be modifying. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Okie dokie. So, first thing we want to do is obviously get the header section. Or the head, I should say. Okay, so start off with obviously you gotta start everything with doc type HTML. Then the HTML section. Then here goes the head. And the first thing we're gonna do is the title. And as you saw from the demo, title is Claus Construction. Charset is telling the browser what characters to use. So in this case, we're just going to do UTF-8. The viewport. Equals width, device width. And then the initial scale, set that to 1.0. Simple as that. Next thing, the favicon. So what this is it's like the little icon to the left of the title when it shows on the browser tab. And we have something in here already for this, right here. And it's just Santa. So link, style sheet, / favicon. Oh, and one thing I forgot to do is I'm using VS Code, and so I want to use the prettier code formatter because it just makes everything simpler. But I have it configured right now where I need a prettier configuration file for it to do anything. So I'm going to add this here, .prettierrc, and just do some angle brackets and save it. And bam, now everything's in the style of prettier. Okay, next thing we're going to add is our CSS files. So the first one is the Bootstrap file. This is Bootstrap 5, by the way. Next one, CSS/font awesome, so we can get our icons. Next one we're going to do is the lightbox, and I showed you how we're going to end up using that. Last one, and this is our custom style.css, which at the moment has nothing else in it. But that's what we'll be changing here very soon. Yeah, that's it for the head. Here we'll put our CSS files. Alright, next thing, we can do the body. And I like using comments, code comments, to help organize and just keep track of everything. So what I'm going to do is put body HTML right here, and end body HTML. Maybe that was a little bit unnecessary, but okay. First thing we're going to make is the nav bar. I'll do end nav bar. Okay, so we're going to put a header, and we're going to use a lot of the Bootstrap classes pretty heavily when we're designing this. So nav.navbar, navbar expand large, my bad. PY3, so add some padding to the top and bottom. Fixed top, because we don't want it moving. We want it to always be at the top. You saw when I was scrolling how it stayed in place. And then, yeah. Bam. Okay, now I'm going to put a container in here so it stays off the edges. Here we're going to put the brand. And the index, just leave it blank for now. And we're going to put a header in here called Claus construction. Alright, now we got to see what that looks like. So I'm going to hit this go live, and if you don't have this in VS Code, you can go over to, I believe it's extensions, and it's called like live server, if I'm recalling correctly. Live preview. That's it. And it puts it down there basically when you're working with HTML files. And when you hit go live, it's going to pull it up in Brave, which is my default browser. But I'm actually going to go over into Firefox to use this. Ooh. Today's drink, by the way, is vodka Red Bull with a little bit of vodka, a lot of sparkling water. Red Bull's too sweet, I think, to drink too much of it. Anyways, that's what we got so far. Doesn't really look much like an nav bar, but that's what we're working on. Alright, so now we got the brand. That's always going to be there. So another thing I guess I forgot to mention about the site is that it's responsive. So still looks good, right? As you make it a little bit smaller, things naturally adjust. It's a responsive layout. And it's kind of baked into Bootstrap. You see the nav bar, it's collapsed now, but same stuff, still looks good. Here. These parallax images here, they're going to disappear once I get it to a certain width, I believe. Yeah, they're gone now, because again, it's just kind of an extra thing, but all the content's still there. Still, the layout still looks good, and then this would be like on your mobile device. This is, in theory, what it pretty much should look like Lightbox still will. Lightbox isn't as good because it takes up a smaller portion of the screen, but that's something we can change later. So, anyways, with that in mind, what we're going to add is this button, and this is going to be the actual toggler with the hamburger menu that you just saw. So, class. Oop, I cannot type today. The toggler. Also going to add type button data BS toggle and collapse. This is just straight from the Bootstrap doc, so I'm not exactly sure what all of these parts do, but so the target, what are we actually going to be adjusting? And that's going to be navbar target, which we'll make in just a second. Excuse me, navbar nav. Let's get like that formatting better. Data BS theme, and we want to use dark. What that means is that the background should be dark, but the text in the hamburger menu will be light, basically. Area controls, navbar nav, same thing. Do we want this expanded? Well, by default, no, we do not, so false. It's only when it gets to a smaller size, smaller width. Toggle navigation. Alright, cool. So now what we're going to do is add the actual toggler itself. So span navbar toggler icon, just like that. And that's it for the button, I reckon. Okay, now here's the actual navbar. So this could be a div, collapse, navbar, collapse, and then we'll give it an ID of navbar nav. So then the button knows what to grab. Do an unordered list, give it the navbar nav, ms auto. So in Bootstrap 4, they had for the margin and padding classes, it was L and R for left and right. Now they use S and E for start and end. So basically this is just saying we want to shift our stuff to the right, give it a margin of, on the start side, to the left of auto. And then each of these, so li dot nav item, ms auto, same thing here. Inside there, we want to do a nav link. And then this will link to the different sections that we're going to do. So for now, this will be home, and then we'll set that to home as well. So we're going to copy this a bunch of times, because if I'm recalling correctly, there were 5 different sections in our thing. So home, about, services, my work, and contact. And we'll change these to accord with them. And let's see how that looks. Not bad, not bad. Doesn't look very Christmassy yet, but we're getting there. We're working our way. So I think that is it for the navbar for now. Okay, so now we have to build out the home section. Just put these to make it easier to navigate. Okay, so I'm going to use a section, give it an ID of home section. No class needed for now. Okay, so we want, here's the hero. So hero VH100, so it uses up the entire viewport. We want it to display flex. want to align items at center. Then give it a container, row, and then column of 7 when it's large, which means it should take up the whole viewport, or whole width if it's smaller than large. Get to that in a sec. MX Auto, give some margins on the side, and text center. Alright, heading of, my bad, I want to add MB-4. So, got some margin to the bottom, Claus construction. And here's going to be, going to add button large, and some margin to the right, so margin end -2, because we don't want this one interfering with the other one. And then this goes to the about, and it just says about me. And then the other button that was here was to the my work section. Oops, I'm misspelling everything. Button large. Alright, my work and my work. Bam. Well, doesn't look so much at all like over here, does it? So now is maybe a good time to start doing some of the styling. So in the CSS file. So that's what we're going to do now. Okay, before anything else, we want to import some fonts. So first one is the font that's actually in the starter files. So, oops, import URL. And go out one file, one folder, 2 fonts to this guy right there. And this other one is we're going to pull from Google something. So I'll add this to the starter files, or you can copy it from just typing it, but basically this is what we're going to add. So we got this Last Christmas font and this other one called Mountains of Christmas coming from Google. It's kind of just to show that you can import fonts and have them as an actual file, or you can just grab it from a CDN or some other spot. Alright, this is our top level stuff. So here what we're going to do is we're going to define some colors. So at the root, we want red, and that's going to be ED0909. That's our red. I'm going to do a light red, which is going to be F37E7E. Green, code we're looking at for this one is hashtag 04D240. And our light green is gonna be hashtag 77E99B. And then 2 more, white. This is quite simply just FFFFFF. Or you can just do 3. And then for black, quite simply 000. Or 6 zeros, but whatever. We're gonna just be simple with it. So those are our colors. Star means it goes to everything, and by default we want box sizing, border box, and font family serif. Why would we just use serif if we have these fancy fonts imported? All will be revealed shortly. The body, excuse me. Scroll behavior, we want this set to smooth. And what that does is, so with this, see if I click about, it doesn't just instantly go there, it kind of scrolls to it. It does it pretty smooth. That's what we want. Overflow Y, scroll, my bad. get overflow scrolling touch. Cool. All right. H1. So for all of our H1 headings, we're going to make these bold. So font weight 800. Font size 4 rems. Font family. This is where we're going to use this fancy one. So last Christmas personal use. So don't use this to make any money. LOL. If this doesn't work, then we'll use serif. And then WebKit text stroke. This does basically, what this does is it does like a highlight or an outline of the letters itself. It's pretty cool. So 1 pixel, and then we're going to use that red color for that. So let's see how that's looking. Ooh. Yeah, see? So it's already taken effect because this is an H1, if you recall. So it's got that red outline. That's what we want. Okay. For our H5s, font size 1.5, 5 rem. And for our paragraph text, font size of 1.2 rems. Alright. Now, we're going to define some colors classes. So, the reason I like doing this is in keeping with the theme of Bootstrap, where you can define a lot of the styling just in the classes you add. I like to do the same thing with the colors, depending on what it is. But so we can say, for this, white, if we want it to be white text, and BG-red for background red, instead of having to define each element in here, and it just makes the CSS a little bit cleaner, I think. So, .red, this is going to be pretty simple. Color, as you can guess, red. Now, for background red, all we're doing is setting the background color. Color to red. And we're going to do basically the same thing for green. Color green. And for another thing we want to do is we want to set a light red background. We won't use light red for like the color of font, but we will use it for background. So background color for light red. Something for this, we'll use the light green. Background color light green. Cool. We're also going to do this for white and black. So white, BG white, background color var white, black. Background black, same thing. Bam. Simple as that. Alright. So, now let's see if that, I guess that didn't change anything because we don't actually have those styles applied to anything yet. So, now what we're going to do is come back over to this. And so, recall from here we want this to be red, right? Same thing with these buttons, we want some stuff to happen. So, what we're going to do is add that to here. So, BG red on the nav bar itself. Oops. add white here. Yeah, there we go. So I've just made it white. Now we want to do the same to the unordered list. I want these to be white. Oh, what's going on here? So we're gonna add some more styling to. Another thing we're gonna do. Okay, we're gonna add some classes for buttons as well, because the default button classes, it's not really showing up here. But this is what we want. See how it's got like custom colors? There's not really a Bootstrap class for that specifically, so we kind of got to make our own. So for our buttons, we're gonna have a button white, a button red, and a button green. So for white, background color, var white. Border, 1 pixel, solid, red. And then the color itself, so the text, that'll be red as well. Okay, and that's all cool, but once we hover over it, we want it to be slightly different. When we hover, we want the background to be green, we want the text and the border to be white. Okay. Now for the red button. Oops. Why does it do that? That's so annoying. Okay. Anyways, for the red button, we want just the opposite. We want the background to be red and the text and border to be white. When we hover over it, we would like these to turn green, and for the background to become white again. So we can actually apply these to these buttons over here, I think. Hold up, let me see something. Excuse me. Yeah. Okay, so about me, button red, and my work, that's going to be button white. What the heck is going on? There we go. Okay. We gotta make that white as well. But see, red comes like that. Same thing with this one. That's exactly what we want. Okay. So anyways, we want to have green buttons as well. Green and green. So background color, obviously green. And then that's going to be red. This is going to be white. When we hover over it, that turn white, and then yeah, these will be green. That's pretty much exactly what we want, I think. Yep, that's what we want. And then one more button that we're going to do, this is for the light box. So the close button, text decoration, none of that. Font size, 2 rem. The width, want that to be 100%, take up the whole thing. And height, we also want that to be 100%. When we hover over it, the background color to become green, and cursor to be a pointer. Cool. Alright, let's see them for the buttons. Now we're gonna mess with some of the header. Oh, I cannot spell. And navbar styling. So it's looking all right. I think we can do better. So this is what we're aiming for. See how it kind of like highlights when I'm hovering over it? We're gonna add that as well. So start out. Font size for the header, 1.3 rems. And then for the navbar brand, which we made this at H2, so we gotta address it differently than the H1s. Color, I'll make it white. I'll set it to a 2.5 rem font size. Set the weight to 700, so bold. And we're going to use that fun font as well. So, Last Christmas personal use. And then serif. I always want to end every font family thing with serif or sans serif. For the nav links, I need to emphasize that they are white and make it important, because I guess it doesn't want to play nice with us. There we go. Okay. Then when you hover over them, here's where we're going to add that shadow effect. So text shadow, 2 pixels, 2 pixels, 4 pixels for green, negative 2 pixels, negative 2 pixels, 4 pixels for green. Alright, let's see how all of that looks. Oh boy. Ah, haha, forgot to add hover. There we go. That's looking pretty good. I like that. Okay. I am satisfied with how that looks. I would like this to be white and us to get an image there, so that's what we're going to do next, which is also in the styling. Okay. So, next section, home. And the hero, I guess. Home section dot hero. There's no other heroes in there, so I don't really need to specify that that's the section, but whatever. Background image. This is going to be the image folder, and it is aptly named Santa Hero, because he is a hero after all. Background position, center. And we're going to background size, set this to cover. Background attachment. There it is. That's going to be fixed. And position is relative, which only makes sense. This is the index 2, font size 1.4 rem. Let's see how that affects it. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Now there's nothing for us to scroll because there's not enough content, but that's a big improvement. All right. So now what we're going to do, here's how we add the black shader to it, kind of. So you go after, content, nothing, width, 100%, height, 100%, position, absolute, top, 0, left, 0, background color, here's the shader, RGBA, because we want to have some alpha on it, so it's like somewhat transparent. So 0, 0, 0, that's how we get black, and then 0.5. Let's see how that looks. Yep. The only problem is it looks like it applied that to everything. Which is not what we wanted. Obviously we want this. for the H1 in the home section, we're gonna give this the WebKit text stroke, my bad. And we're actually gonna make that 2 pixels bar red instead of just 1. Makes it a little bit thicker. Font weight 800. And font size, this one's going to be a little bit bigger than 4 rems, it's going to be 5 rems. There we go, I like that. I don't like how it's shaded out the entire thing though, I'm not exactly sure why it's doing that. Okay, I can't figure out what's going on with this. One thing I did notice though, is this has to be white. And that should help us here. Oh dear. Yeah, text at least right. Alright, I can't figure out what's going on with that. Sorry. Alright, we're gonna leave this to 0 for now. Maybe. That's strange. I don't know why it's doing that. Oh, okay. I figured it out. It's the Z index. That has to be -1. Yeah, there we go. Now it applies to the image and not the text. Okay. Now that's looking like we want it to. So now we can go on to the About section. Okay, about comments, and so section, ID of about section, and then we're going to give this a class of BG green and white. So white text, green background, simple as. Container, and give it some padding, PY4, row, center the text. And here's going to be our heading, and give it some more padding as well. About clause construction. Do another row here, also give it padding. And then here we're going to have column, large 8, and auto center it basically by adding margins to the left and right side, or sorry, top and bottom. Alright, heading 3, more margin. Hi, I'm Nick, although people like to call me Santa. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Okay, that's a good start. So now we just want to add some more text here. So we're going to do, well, I'm just going to paste some text in here. You could also do lorem 30 tab, and then it just does a bunch of dummy text. That's the lorem Ipsum stuff is. I'm going to keep that. I'm also going to add another. This is dummy text anyways, so you just use lorem, or you can write up this, whatever. Okay. Now we're going to add the image. So here's the end of the column, large, bore, image, and image fluid class, and rounded circle. So you can get that circular image. And this is going to be Santa about. This is stupid why it keeps doing this. Oh, I think I know why. Yeah, okay, I like that. Okay, that's looking pretty good. think that's it for our about section. So now what we're going to do is add the services, which should go right below this. So we get our comments, services, and end services. Section, services section, that's the ID. And we're also going to add, oops, this is a light red color, if you recall, and white text as well. I'm just typing all the wrong stuff today. Okay, container, add some padding, add a row, and some more margin towards the bottom. Column medium 8, MX auto, so we'll center it, and center the text as well. Services. And here's a collection of the most common services I offer to my clients. Cool. Alright, that's that row. Oh, yeah, my bad. This should be a div, and this should say row. Okay. Row, MB dash, no margin on this one. Just make sure that it's white. Column, large, 4, and 6. So take up half of it when it's a little bit slimmer. Service, card effect, icon box. Here we're gonna add one of our font awesome classes. So FAS and FA clock. FAS is for FA solid versus like outline or some of the other ones they have. Add heading 5 with a margin on the top and a smaller margin on the bottom. This one's going to say 15-minute free estimate. Understanding construction, you probably need longer than that if it's a big serious job, but you know whatever. Okay, I'm just going to paste some text here. You can use whatever though. Alright, let's see how that's looking. We gotta add some styling to that, I think. But layout-wise, that actually looks okay. You know what? Let's do some of the styling right now. Actually, while I'm thinking about it. Some more for the about section. Services. Okay. Services section. Font size 1.1 rems. Cool. Card effect. This, if you recall, here's from the finished project. This is that effect. That's what we're going to be doing. So, background color, or red. Gonna add some padding and a little bit of a margin. For the icon box, width 54 pixels, height also 54 pixels, display, that is going to be flex. We're going to align items to the center and justify content to the center. Background color, white. Color itself of the icon is going to be red. font size, 2 rem, and the border radius, oh goodness, 100 pixels, and flex, none. Yeah, that's looking a lot better. I like that. Okay. Now to the service. Position relative. Oh goodness. Z index 2. Overflow hidden. Surface after. Content, nothing again. Width, 100%. Height also 100%. Position, absolute. Top, 100%. Left, 0. Background color, we want this to be green. Index of -1, and I realize I just forgot a semicolon, which is not good. Opacity, however you say that word, 0, and then transition, all 0.4 second ease. Cool. And now for the hover effect itself. Hover after. This is going to change some of that opacity. Oh dear. 1, top, 0. So, get services, bam. That is the other way from which we want it though. Oh, I see the problem. Okay. This has to be negative 100%. Yeah, there we go. Cool. I like it. Now let's add our other services. So what we can do actually is just copy this, I believe. Yeah, so copy this. And one more time. So this one's going to say electrical handiwork. And here's my dummy text for this. Electrical troubleshooting, not bad. And then general handiwork is the other one. And let's see how that looks. Good, but we had to modify these icons. So, for the electrical one, we want lightning, that one. No, it does not. Light bulb for electrical. And for this one, we're just going to do a hammer. Because, you know, just general handyman stuff. And that's looking a lot better. Cool. So you notice how the hero image is like it's a parallax image basically. Does that make sense? We're going to add that below this section before we get to the My Work section as well. So here we're going to call it parallax 1 and parallax 1 and this part's maybe not even necessary, but anyways, section, give an ID of parallax -1. Here's what we need. So parallax image and image fluid. Now let's hop over to the styling and say what to do with that, because this didn't change anything obviously, but it's about to. So for our parallax image, we're going to identify it, and background attachment, fixed, background position, center, background repeat, no repeat, and background size, we're going to set this to cover. So this should basically show the exact same thing as the hero, just without the gray or the black shader we added to it. Once we add the image of Santa header, I think. No, Santa hero, my bad. This has no height. So height 600 pixels. Yeah, there we go. Although, I would like to add a grayscale to that actually. Grayscale 60%, I guess. Well, it looks kind of goofy. 40%. I don't know. Okay. And then one other thing we want to do is basically when it gets to a certain point, it just disappears. So at this 575.98 pixels, we're going to set it to display none. So if I'm doing this correctly, so we got it here, and then boop, disappears. Nope, not quite. Oh, yeah, it worked. I just didn't go far enough. Bam, disappeared. So that's right about the threshold right there, sort of. Bam, gone. Awesome. Okay. Alright, now we're going to do the My Work section. This one is by far the most complicated. Okie dokie. Let's do the My Work section. So, My Work and My Work section and My Work section, that'll be the ID. And I'm going to give this a class of background green and white text. Alright, container, add some padding, row, and some margin to the bottom. Oh goodness. That's about it. Alright, column medium 8. This is going to basically be talking about the services. So MX Auto, text center, PY2 for more padding. Recent work. I'm going to paste some more dummy text here. Well, I mean, this actually says something, but I doubt you would put this on an actual site. Okay. So, here's the next row, and this is going to have the actual work stuff. And I'm also going to add some padding at the bottom as well. Okay, here's the first one, electrical. So column large 4, and then small, it'll take up only half the screen. I'm going to call this a project, Y2, Alright, here's where things get a little bit complicated. So, a image link, that's the class, and the href goes to image slash electrical1. So this is obvious, but electrical 1, 2, 3, and 4, those are the images that we're going to use for this. So this is just something on how the light box itself works. So that. Now we're going to do data lightbox equals gallery dash 1. Data title equals, I'm just going to call this electrical 1. Not very creative, but you know, whatever. And then the actual image here, which will give an image fluid class 2, image slash also electrical 1. Let's see how that's looking. Right there. You click on it, just go straight to it. Doesn't mean anything right now, right? Well, that's about to change. So before we do that though, we're going to add an overlay, which goes in the A tag, I think? Yes, it does. Overlay. Oh dear. Oh, I see what I did. Okay, so after this image, overlay, empty div, for white, electrical job, same thing here, also white, more text about the stuff involved with that job. Also include pics, maybe. Just dummy text. Okay. So what's going to happen is this is going to overlay over the image, obviously. And electrical. Okay, so now what we got to do is hop over to our styling. Okay. My work. So, project. Position. Oh dear. Relative. Overflow. Hidden. Order. 2 pixels. Solid. And red. Oh my goodness. Okay, now for the overlay, position is going to be absolute, top 0, left 0, width 100%, height 100%, background color, GBA. Basically this is just a light red, so 255, 64, 64, 0.5. Oh, that's a problem. There we go. That looks better. Okay. Padding. 30 pixels. Display flex. Align items to the flex end. So to the right, basically. Transition. All 0.4 seconds, ease, opacity 0. So it's looking better. The overlay is missing though. Keep watching. That's what we're about to address. Project. After we do some with the project image. So that's, oh dear, that's also going to be all 0.4 second ease. Project hover overlay opacity 1. Bam. Now we're cooking with grease. Okay, I'm also going to do something with the image. So if you recall, it kind of like zooms in a little bit. So scale 0.1. And there needs to be a colon here. Okay, now, yeah, there we go. That looks good. That looks good. I like that. That's it for that. Now what we need to do is copy this, do 2 more sections, one for woodworking and the other one was, I forget, drywall. So drywall, drywall job. And the image is named the exact same thing, just drywall 1. So same thing here. This is going to be gallery 2, and we're going to call this drywall 1. Okay. There we go. Bam, bam. Looks good. Now when I click it, it just takes us right to it, because we have not quite added the light box yet, but that's coming in just a little bit. Okay, and drywall. Now let's do the woodworking. Working. Image woodworking 1. This will be gallery 3. Woodworking 1. Woodworking 1. And we're just gonna say woodworking, not woodworking job. Okay, that looks good. So that's actually it for the My Work section, except we do need to add the galleries themselves. So what I'm going to do is galleries and galleries. And this section is not actually going to be on the page, but it is going to be linked via the lightbox. So section, give it an ID of, oh dear. Okay, section, let's give it an ID of galleries, I guess. And then a class of D none, meaning display none. We do not want this displayed. Okay, so first thing, gallery 1, and that is electrical. So div with an ID of gallery 1 and a class called gallery. So now here we're going to have our 4 different images that are added to the thing. So for the first one, well, gallery1.jpg already contained in the body. So we can ignore that one, essentially. We'll go to number 2. Oh my goodness. So a image link. This is going to be really similar to the thing earlier. So image link, href, image slash electrical 2. Data lightbox. This is part of gallery 1. Data title equals, call it electrical 2. And the image with an image dash fluid class name is going to be electrical 2. Okay, so let me just make sure this is all good. I think it is. I'm going to get rid of this alt because we kind of have that already with the title. Okay, so now I'm going to copy this Oh dear, didn't mean to do that. Sorry, copy through to the A tag. And this is going to be 3, so electrical 3, electrical 3, electrical 3, and electrical 4, 4, 4, and also 4 up here as well. Okay. Now, in theory, it didn't work. What are we missing? Oh, I know what we're missing. So we did not add these script tags to the body of the HTML. So that's my bad. Okay. That was part of the body, but we're going to put it below this comment. So JavaScript files, script, source equals JS/that. I'm going to copy that because we are also going to link the lightbox. Okay, now let's give it a shot. Much better, okay. It's a little bit slow, but good otherwise. Yeah, so these should be working. Okay. Can't believe I forgot that. But anyways, we're also going to include some custom JavaScript. And so right here for the lightbox, lightbox.option always show nav on touch devices. So what this is when this pops up, you see you got these arrows when you hover over it, and then this X. So when I've tested this on mobile, that doesn't show up. You can still scroll, or you can still navigate with the arrows and the X button, but it's not obvious. If someone's just looking at it the first time, it might be just one image, you know, they don't know. So I want these to always show, even on mobile. Always show nav on touch devices. Resize duration, I want it to be 150 milliseconds, and then wrap around true. I'll show you what this does. So if this is false, see how we're on the first one? There's no way to go. There's no way to go back. Just this way. Now we can go forwards or back. Now when we change that to true, oh dear, what's going on? Here's the problem. Lightbox.option, not options. Yeah, that's much quicker too. Yeah, see, now I've got this thing there. Okay. That's the problem. Okay, cool. See how okay, so now what we need to do is copy this gallery for the other two galleries. So this second one is gonna be drywall. So gallery 2, drywall, ID of gallery 2. Well, not gallery 1. So here we want drywall 1.jpg. We gotta change this. Electrical 1. And then for this should say drywall 2. Drywall 2, drywall 2, gallery dash 2. So image drywall 2. That should be good. 3 and 4. 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, and 4. Good for drywall. Oh, not that. I'll copy all this again, and then for the final gallery, which is woodworking. So gallery 3, woodworking. ID of gallery 3. I don't know if I need to talk through all this. This is kind of obvious if you understand what's happened so far. Place that here and here. Oops. So I'm just gonna change this to 3 and this to 4. All right, let's check it out. Looks good. Drywall. Looks good. And woodworking. I understand there's like 8 different guys in all these photos. That's kind of why it's funny a little bit, at least to me. But yeah, sweet. So that's working. And then just to show you something, if this was the block, this would be a mess. Yeah, it's just trying to show all the pictures down here now. Yeah, so we don't want that to show. Display none. Okay, cool. So now after my work, if you recall, there's another parallax. Second one. So section ID parallax dash 2. Parallax image and image fluid, I believe. Yeah, looking good. So this is coming together pretty well. So now last thing we need to do is the contact section and then also the footer. So it's after this end parallax 2. Contact. End contact. So section, contact, section. Contact section. Give it a light red background and white text, of course. Okay, container. Some padding. Make a row. Make a column with a width of 4 for medium. Center the text. Each one. Add some margin to the bottom. Dope. Contact me. Alright, image slash Santa contact. And then we're gonna add several Bootstrap classes. So display none, but then at the medium size, display as a block. And then rounded circle and center it with MX Auto. Looks alright, it's a little bit big. It's a little bit big. We're going to modify that in a bit, but I want to get some of the content on here first. Okay. So it's got the contact me text and the pic of Santa Claus. This one over here is going to be the actual form. So column medium 8, card body, padding of 3, and background red. Okay. Form, action, I'm going to leave that blank for now, basically. Method, obviously, this would be post. The name, that's all we have to do, actually. Okay, row. So, for the first form group, if you recall, basically we want name, phone number, email, and the message that they actually want to send. So, row. And then what we're going to do is column XS12, and also make it, form group. Label for name. Then we're going to add input group, and the input group prepend. Add some margin. Span input group text. Background white, but this is actually going to be a font awesome icon. FA user, padding 1. Span div. Okay. Here we're going to have the input type, and so required placeholder. Oh dear. Placeholder holds name. ID also name. Class form control, background white, and black text. That'll be the first time I actually use that class. Name equals name, type equals text. Alright, let me see how that's looking. Not quite. Not quite there. Oh, here's the problem. It's FAS and FA user. Those are separate classes. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Cool. So, this is name. Oh my goodness. Okay. Now we're going to do the same, but for phone number. Phone number. Set a colon there as well. Label for phone. FA phone. Right? Yep. Input required. Placeholder 123 456 7890. ID equals phone. Name also phone. Type tel for telephone. And then here we're going to specify the pattern, which I'm just going to copy this. Not going to lie. But basically, they'll have to type their phone number in this form. 3 digits dash, 3 digits dash, 3 digits. Simple as that. Okay, that's cool. So now, email. And I guess we may as well for message. Copying user over email for email mail. Where's an envelope? Envelope. Placeholder email. And ID email name email type email. Just see how that's looking. Not bad, not bad. We gotta adjust this image a little bit later, but I like the look of that. That's not bad. Oh my goodness. Okay. So same thing here. CSS 12 form group label for message and input group input. This is all the same. I'm gonna copy this. Except this is gonna be FA pencil bolt. Only difference is that instead of an input, it's going to be a text area. So text area, name, message, ID, description. Nothing in there, I guess. Required, placeholder, message. What else do we need? Class of form control, background of white, and black text. Oh, and I also want to specify that there are 5 rows. Nice. I like that. Can actually make this a little bit longer too, if you're so inclined. Alright, then the last thing we need is a submit button. So submit button, and for this we are gonna do CSS 12 text towards the end. Oh dear. Top, margin to the top, give it some space. Button. Type equals submit. Title equals submit your message. Class button and button green. So that was why I made that class earlier. It's getting used here. Also button large. We got a few more fields we gotta add here. So ID equals submit button. Oh dear. Name. Submit. And value. Also submit. Oh, and I guess submit message. There, like that. I like it. I like it. This has got to get adjusted though. So I think that's what we're gonna do next. Yeah, that's definitely what we're doing next. Okay. So styles here, contact. Contact section. Font size 1.1 rems. Font weight 700. So all that's really going to adjust is these. Yeah, that looks better, much better actually. Okay. Now for the input group text. Border color var black. Looks a little bit crisper, I think. And then the color, we're gonna make that red. So let's change these icons. Yeah, I like that. That's better even. And let me see. Contact section. So for the icons themselves, font style, normal. We're gonna add that WebKit text stroke, 1 pixel, and we're gonna make it black. Ooh, that's looking sharp. I like that. And also we gotta make these bigger though. So font size 1.3 rems. Nice, 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 nice. Okay, for the contact section inputs, we would also like to give that a border 1 pixel, solid, and black. Oops. Might do the same to the text area. So let me copy this and say text area here. There we go. Okay. Contact section H1. I want to make this contact me a little bit bigger. Actually, no, you know what, that's fine. I don't need to make it bigger. It's fine as it is. Okay, now for this image, this is what we definitely need to modify. So max width of 100%. Let's just see how that looks. Yes, that's way better. Okay, and also I want to give this a border. So border 1 pixel, solid. Make it red. I'm gonna make it 2 pixels. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, and then this button itself, we might want to change slightly. Okay, so then the next question is, how does this responsively? Yep, so you see how the image disappears, and that's because of this right here, display none, and then at the medium size it becomes display block, but it's medium here, now it becomes small, and then eventually extra small, but yeah, I like that for a smaller device. That looks good to me. Cool, yeah, so the only other content we need to add is we need to add the footer. So that's what we're going to do now. All right, footer, and footer. Okay, so footer, and let me pull my thing up. Okay, footer, text center. We're going to do white text, and we want the background to be black. And give it some padding. Good, good, good. Okay. Now in here, I'm just going to add a container so it doesn't rub up against the edges. So we want that copyright symbol, and the way to do that is ampersand copy question mark 2024 Claus construction, all rights reserved, it doesn't need to be capitalized, powered by Acme Web Agency. All right. Cool. We want to add some styling to Claus Construction and to Acme Web Agency as well. So how we're going to do that is we're going to set a span around it. So for Claus Construction, span like this. Put Claus Construction in the middle of it like that. And then for Acme Web Agency, we're going to put a anchor tag around this because we want it to link to the web agency that made it. Red. Cut right there. Oops. We're going to give this an ID of dev for developer. And then another thing I guess we want to do, we want to add target equals blank. So that way if you click on this, it kicks you into it opens up another tab. It doesn't alter the tab you're in. So people don't have to go back to get back to the main page. Another thing we're going to do, and this is going to take some JavaScript, is this year is going to change from year to year, obviously. I mean, Christmas and New Year's is coming up, so this is especially relevant. I don't necessarily want to go in here and have to modify this every time, but it's like, let's say if you had launched this 2 years ago, it would have been 2022, and if people were seeing that, that would be not correct, obviously. So we're actually going to put a span tag around this as well with the ID of year. And now in our custom JavaScript, we're going to get the current year for the copyright. Now we're going to do that is document get element by ID year dot inner text equals new date dot get full year. And if that worked correctly, bam, 2024. Even though 2028 still says 2024 because it's getting the current year. So I'll put 2024 here just because, but if you were to deploy this to a web server in 2 weeks from now, it would say 2025. And it would work just fine. One more thing I'm going to do with the footer is it gets a little bit small. I don't like how it breaks up the text like that. Like that's fine, but I would prefer if it was like 2 separate lines, all rights reserved, and then powered by Acme Web Agency was on its own line. So how we're going to do that is we're going to put a break here with the class of D block. Excuse me. D block. And then D for medium, none. So now it's on 2 things. I might get rid of this period as well. Yeah, so all one line, then it gets down to medium. Oops. And now it's on 2 lines. Just looks a little bit nicer. And then we're going to do a little bit of styling for the footer as well. So for the anchor tag, I don't like that it has the underline, so none for this. And then when you hover, I want it to become green. And also, then I want it to underline, just to make absolutely clear that it is a hyperlink. So let's see how that looks. Better? Yeah, I like that. Okay, for the dev tag, which is the anchor tag, we're gonna make it extra bold, give it a font weight of 600. And then we're also going to give it a fun font. So this one we're going to use Mountains of Christmas. And then serif as a backup. There. Isn't that artsy? Kind of looks like a font that the Grinch would use. I don't know. Anyways, then we're also going to do that for the brand. So we're just going to actually copy this. And make it a little bit bolder. Yeah, like that. Okay, so one final thing we need to do is in our nav bar, I had set the hyperlinks to hashtag home, hashtag about, services, etc., etc. But then the ID I'd put here was for home section. And the reason for that is, I'll show you. So if I set this to home, and I set this to about, and the services, let's use those as an example. Oh, shoot. Okay, I'm going to leave those. That's my bad. Should have seen that coming. Change to this. That's much easier because I don't have to change any of the styling in the CSS file. Okay. You see how it like covers it up a little bit? And so, services. If we click services, we want it to come to like right there. So, my workaround for this, there's a few ways you can do it, but here's just one way, is below the section, you have a div called a nav target. And the ID you give it is the thing of the section. So here we put home, and then we do this exact same thing. Put the same thing for here to give it about. Services, my work, and one more for the contact section. Contact. Okay. Now we can set these back to just home, about, and services. And so you might be asking, well, that didn't actually fix it. Yes, but what we can do, so in our styling for the nav bar, we'll add nav target, position relative, and because, and base top negative, say 90 pixels. And now what that's going to do is give it a buffer. So instead of going, basically takes here, the services thing, to the top of the page. But we actually want it to be offset by how big the nav bar itself is. So if we inspect the nav bar, we can see exactly how big that is. So 66 plus 16 padding on either side, that gives you 32, so you end up 98 pixels. That's the total. So you can actually do that, negative 98 pixels. And services, bam. About, that's perfect. I'm actually going to set it to shorter so it overlaps a tiny bit. But actually, no, I'll just show you that if you do like 104 pixels, that's a few pixels over, right? We can see a little bit of the about section here. See a little bit, so obviously that's too much. So I'm going to do 96, just because I like it having a tiny bit of overlap. Yeah, and that looks a lot better. Beautiful. Okay, just a couple things I realized I forgot. So for the favicon, you look up here, there is no favicon, in fact. And that's because I said style sheet here, and this is supposed to read icon. Yeah, see now, there you can see Santa up there. Another thing is that the submit button here, well, this would be a little bit bigger. Maybe even fill up like half of the width of this thing. So what I'm going to do is contact. And this meant to read 12, but I might just do 6. See what that does. Not quite what we're looking for. Okay, make this 12, and then in the style, come down to contact. So I don't have something for the submit button. All right, well, that's about to change. Contact section, submit. Excuse me. Button, submit button. Width, oh dear, no caps lock. Width, 50%. See how that's looking. Yes, I like that better. Congrats, that is the end of the tutorial. So if you enjoyed this, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, or not, I don't really care. If you have any constructive criticism on this, please put that down in the comments. This is one of my first tutorials. I might do more of these in the future, I don't know, but let me know if if I was stuttering all over the place, or if my examples weren't clear, or whatever. Just let me know. I like to get better. So, yeah, and with that, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's.